Thrush, the prominent NYT journalist, has been suspended following accusations from several younger, female journalists that he made unwanted UAL advances toward them. Halperin The NBC analyst and contributor lost his job as well as book and TV show deals after 12 different women accused him of UAL harassment from while he was at ABC News. Lockhart Steele, the editorial director for Vox, was fired after admitting to UAL misconduct. There is currently an investigation into claims of UAL misconduct by other Vox employees brought by a former employee. Stephen Blackwell, the Billboard magazine executive, was accused of UAL harassment by a former intern and resigned from his position at the magazine. Michael Oreskes, the NPR news chief, was put on leave from the media company after several accusations of UAL harassment by at least 4 women who claimed the behavior occurred while Oreskes was at the New York Times, NPR and AP. Roger Lamé, the NPR board chairman, has announced he'll step down from his position at the end of his term, but NPR reported that he is the subject of complaints about inappropriate behavior. Jan Wenner, the founder and publisher of Rolling Stone magazine, was accused of offering a male writer a freelance contract in exchange for. Wenner has admitted that an encounter took place, but said he never made a career offer in exchange for. Leon Wieseltier, the New Republic editor, has admitted to and apologized for workplace misconduct, which led to the cancellation of his forthcoming Culture magazine. Wieseltier was also removed from leadership at The Atlantic magazine. Matt Zimmerman, the NBC News producer, was let go after being accused of inappropriate conduct by multiple women. Hamilton Fish, the president and publisher of New Republic, was placed on leave while several complaints of his UAL harassment toward women are investigated. Jimmy Sonia's Ariana Huffington became the head of fixing Uber's bad reputation. Attention was drawn to the former HuffPost editor, Soni, who left to launch HuffPost India in 2014 while reportedly being investigated for UAL misconduct. Giuseppe Castellano, Penguin Random House, is investigating a UAL harassment accusation against Castellano, its art director. Knight Landisman, the Artforum magazine publisher, resigned from the company after being accused by several women, and sued by one, for UAL harassment. Kurt Webster, one woman has accused the Webster Public Relations CEO of UAL assault. Webster has taken leave from his firm, which has been renamed. Roy Price, the Amazon executive, resigned after a woman accused him of UAL harassment. Don't forget Fox, Bill O'Reilly and Roger Ailes started the chain of UAL harassment and assault allegations in big media companies. More from the interview on the alleged assault. Well, I wouldn't exactly call it a date. I would say it was a meet. At 14, I was not dating. At 14, I was not able to make those kinds of choices. He touched me over my clothing, what was left of it. On her reaction: I'd been reading Harlequin romances for years, you know, at that point, and I was expecting candlelight and roses, and what I got was very different. On how it affected her: it took away a lot of the specialness of interactions with men. It took some trust away. It took years for me to regain a sense of confidence in myself. On if she profited from telling her story: absolutely not. If anything, this has cost me. On her politics: I voted as a Republican for years and years and years, but this isn't political for me. This is personal. History. North Korea, which was on the list from 19,882,008, was taken off after it agreed to dismantle some of its nuclear weapons program, but as Congress noted in April this year, North Korea has failed to live up to these commitments. Why it matters: it's cheaper for retailers to spread out extra holiday traffic evenly throughout the prime holiday shopping season, so retailers like Amazon, Walmart, and Best Buy have already initiated steep discounts on popular items, hoping to avoid surges in traffic that caused trouble for websites of Target, Macy's, and Gap in 2015 and 2016. Impact: just because it's been approved, it doesn't mean the pipeline will be built for a few reasons, including opponents will be filing lawsuits to try and block the construction. New landowners will have to get on board with right-of-way agreements, which puts the eventual completion of the pipe up in the air. No notice was given to them by TransCanada or the state, per the Omaha World-Herald. The counties now in the path include Madison, Stanton, Platte, Colfax, Butler, Seward, and Saline. The allegations: a 23-year-old woman who works at Politico, where Thrush worked before joining NYT, said she and Thrush had a few drinks at a colleague's work party in June. At the end of the night, she says, she was left on a street corner in tears after she resisted Thrush's UAL advances. The woman's friend Bianca Padro Ocasio, also a reporter, confronted Thrush about his behavior the next day. She told him in a text message, "I want to make sure you don't lure young women aspiring journalists into those situations ever again. So help me out here." How can I do that? Laura McGann, a journalist at Vox and author of this report, recounted a similar story from 5 years ago, when she and Thrush were colleagues at Politico. McGann said Thrush was in the same bar as Pedro Ocasio's friend when he caught me off guard, put his hand on my thigh, and suddenly started kissing me. Thrush said he remembers the encounter differently. Statement below. 2 other young women told McGann about other similar experiences, ranging from unwanted groping and kisses to hazy UAL encounters after consuming alcohol. They described having felt a mix of emotions: scared, violated, ashamed, weirded out. McGann said she felt, and still feels, angry. Statement from the NYT. The behavior attributed to Glenn in this Vox story is very concerning and not in keeping with the standards and values of the New York Times. We intend to investigate, and while we do, Glenn will be suspended. The Times also said Thrush told them that he plans to check into a substance abuse program. Statement from Glenn Thrush. I apologize to any woman who felt uncomfortable in my presence, and for any situation where I behaved inappropriately. Any behavior that makes a woman feel disrespected or uncomfortable is unacceptable. My recollection of my interactions with Laura differs greatly from hers. The encounter was consensual, brief, and ended by me. She was an editor above me at the time, and I did not disparage her to colleagues at Politico as she claims. The assertion that I would rate women based on their appearance is also false. I have never offered mentorship or reporting advice to anyone, man or woman, with an expectation of anything in return. To assert otherwise is false. The June incident related in the story was a life-changing event. The woman involved was upset by my actions, and for that I am deeply sorry. Over the past several years, I have responded to a succession of personal and health crises by drinking heavily. During that period, I have done things that I am ashamed of, actions that have brought great hurt to my family and friends. I have not taken a drink since June 15, 2017, have resumed counseling, and will soon begin outpatient treatment for alcoholism. I am working hard to repair the damage I have done. Full disclosure: the founders of Axios were at Politico for portions of Thrush's tenure there. Axios CEO Jim VandeHei, the former CEO of Politico, said the allegations are serious and troubling and wishes he had been aware of the behavior at the time. We would have been intolerant of it, he said. Details: Microsoft partnered with community organizations and local internet companies and broadcasters to deploy the so-called TV white space connectivity and internet hotspots at a food distribution site, a health clinic, and the University of Puerto Rico, the company said in a blog post Monday. Other efforts: several tech companies have deployed experimental technologies to bring internet service to the hurricane-ravaged areas. Alphabet, Google's parent company, rolled wireless service through a network of balloons, known as Project Loon. Democratic opposition research group American Bridge is targeting, per Politico. Separately, the report says Democrats are pressing the following for not denouncing more: Catherine Templeton, a South Carolina gubernatorial candidate; Virginia's Corey Stewart, who's running for Senate against Virginia Sen. Tim Kaine, Indiana's rep; Todd Rokita, California's rep; Dare Lisa, who's trying to raise funds, Politico says Virginia Sen. Tim Kaine, Texas rep; Beto O'Rourke next. China's Alibaba Group currently has a market cap north of $480 billion.